I had been feeling unwell for about 2 years, generally fatigued, exhausted all the time, constantly eating, excessively thirsty. I thought my excessive thirst was, oh, great, you picked up this new habit for drinking water. I, so I was high fiving myself, not knowing this was a symptom of type 2 diabetes. I also developed bad sleep. I wasn't able to sleep. And so I finally dragged myself into the doctor's office and they did the test. That was in October of 2019. So they asked me to come in for labs. I did the labs. And generally, labs take a couple of weeks to return and to go back for your follow up. But the doctor called me on that evening. He called me the evening. I had the test in the morning. He called me in the evening. He said, I need you to come into my office tomorrow. Tomorrow. Don't hesitate. Don't reschedule. Don't not come. Show up. So I did. And I thought, okay, maybe they found something that has something to do with like hormones or, aging. Never type 2 diabetes. It was not only just my doctor, I was met by a team of doctors. So that basically let me know that this was way more serious than I even, that I even understood. He said, if you don't get your health in order today, begin today, you're not going to be here 2 months from now. He said by November or December, you're either going to have a stroke or a heart attack, go into a coma, and your family will be visiting you at the hospital to say goodbye. I thought, this is really ironic. You do this for a living. You do this for a living and you allow your own health to fall this far. It was embarrassing to be sitting in a room full of professional physicians in this state of health, not knowing the things that I should have known so that I wouldn't have to have to experience it. Yes, it was embarrassing. And I was angry and very confused and very distraught. I was wholly focused on what the doctor said about the 2 months to live. Basically, that's what I heard him say. You have 2 months to live. So my focus was on getting myself from that point back to some type of health where, my life wouldn't be jeopardized. So they gave me the insulin and then they gave me a diet that was maybe 150 grams of carbs. They said, eat this and exercise and make sure you sleep well, manage your stress, and you'll be okay. You'll be able to manage this. And I'm thinking, these are the things that I eat already. So clearly there's some breakdown in communication here. And so I left their office and just got on the phone. Google is my friend, and started looking for information on how to beat type 2 diabetes. So basically I learned about keto and found it to be reasonable. I could do it with what I had on hand, so I didn't have to starve. And then weight was falling off. That I weighed the same amount of weight for at least a decade, and it was just melting away. And then my blood sugar started to just plummet, just immediately, just going down, 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 down. But for me, being in such a dire situation, I needed to find community. I needed to find other people who were on this journey, who were actually successful at maintaining some level of normalcy, and who were, encouraging each other. And I did that. I absolutely did that. And so being able to go on the internet and find information was critical for me. It saved my life. It really did. And having a sisterhood, specifically of women, because women are often overlooked. They're often invisible in just the day-to-day. It's just like, oh, mom, she does that. She cooks, she cleans, she does the groceries. That's her thing. That's what she's supposed to do. No one looks at me like, this is Stacy, she's a person. And, she deserves to have someone listen to her, someone to vent to, someone to encourage her, to uplift her, and she can give the same. And so that is what community, and for type 2 diabetes, you're dealing with all the stresses of that. Men and women dealing with all of the stressors that go with that, and having to live life. And it's kind of like you can't put it on the back burner. You can't put it to the bottom of your priority list for very long, because again, the complications are still moving forward, even though you're, may not be taking your medication as you should, or you didn't eat well today. And community understands that. They're not going to say to you, like maybe your husband will say, well, you shouldn't have eaten that. Your community is going to understand, you fall. we're going to help you pick you back up and get you moving forward in the right direction. So community for type 2 diabetics is very, very critical. So I actually got a new doctor in that 3-month period of time. And so when I met her and I did the labs for that particular visit on the day of, and I'm sitting there talking to her and she's looking at her computer. She's like, oh yeah, so what have you been doing? Oh, you've been doing the keto diet? That's great. And she goes, your labs are here. And I said, oh, that's great. She goes, your blood sugar's 81. And I'm thinking, oh yeah, I didn't tell you that my blood sugar's been normal. She says, no. And she goes, oh, do you want to know your A1C? And I said, sure. She goes, it's 5.6. So from 15.4 to 5.6, which is non-diabetic range, is remarkable. Type 2 diabetes is not a sentence. It is brought into your life as an awareness that your health is off track, but it's also an opportunity to reinvent yourself. And it's not difficult. It does take work though. It takes a commitment. You have to be committed to wanting to change.